We're going to go over the simplified method worksheet for determining the allowable expenses for the business use of your home in Schedule C. So as a business owner, you can use a couple of different methods to calculate the business expense deduction for the business use of your home. So if you have a home office, if you operate a daycare facility out of your home, you can either complete and fill out and file IRS Form 8829, which specifically discusses the business use of your home, or you can use the simplified method worksheet located in the instructions for IRS Schedule C. Either one of those are perfectly acceptable. You can use one method in one year. You can use the other method in a subsequent year. However, you cannot use both methods to calculate two different deductions for the same business use of your home in the same tax year. So we'll put a link to the article and the video that we created for IRS Form 8829 in case you want to compare that. We'll also put up links to any of the other forms that we mentioned in this video. So this is a fairly straightforward worksheet, and the theoretical, I'll walk you through the theoretical limitation using this spreadsheet. It's pretty simple. You're not allowed, so the business use of your home using the simplified method is to take a certain amount of square footage and multiply it by a certain dollar amount. And then when you multiply those together, the product is your allowable expenses that you can deduct on Schedule C. So the maximum allowable square footage is 300 feet. The maximum allowable dollar amount per square foot is $5. So your theoretical limit using this method is $1,500 per year. So if you do have expenses that exceed that amount, and you know that they are all attributable to the business use of your home, you may want to consider at least completing IRS Form 8829 and then comparing those results. So, and again, any expenses that you don't capture on IRS Form 8829, if you're using the simplified method worksheet, you don't get to carry them over. So make sure if you do have a significant amount of expenses that you at least take the time to compare them. Now, we'll start at the top. I'll kind of walk you through what the instructions say, and I'll point you to specific references to where you get this information. So in line 1, you're going to enter the amount of the gross income limitation. So you can use either method, the simplified method or the IRS Form 8829, but your business expense cannot create a loss on Schedule C. In other words, you can deduct the business use of your home all the way down until your taxable income on Schedule C is 0. So you need to compare your calculation to whatever the gross income limit is. So the form instruction or the worksheet instructions basically have a calculation for determining this. For line 1, in this number right here, that just represents kind of, you know, the total result of the following calculation. So offline, you're going to take the amount from Schedule C, line 29. That's your tentative profit or loss. So if you're starting off at a loss, then you may as well complete IRS Form 8829 and then at least carry over any unallowed expenses. You'll take that tentative profit, and then you'll add any gain that was derived from the business use of your home that's reflected in IRS Form 8849 and included on Schedule D or on IRS Form 4797. So if you had any gain because you sold business property, like if you had if you had a shredder that you bought for $100 and you turned around and sold it on eBay to a collector for $1,000 and you sold your business property and made some money off of it, you can add that to your gross income limitation. So you'll add those two amounts, and then you're going to subtract the total amount of any losses that were shown on Form 8949 and included on Schedule D or on Form 4797 that are allocable to the business but not to the business use of the home. So if you have other losses that were allocated to the business but not the business use of the home, you're going to subtract that. And then once you perform those calculations, you'll include the total here. So this $10,000, that just represents the calculation I just outlined. So if some of the income is from a place of business other than your home, then you need to determine the part of your gross income, which is from line 7 on Schedule C, and then the gains reported on those various tax forms. So you have to determine the amount of gross income that is allocated to your business use of your home. And you would need to consider how much time you spend at those locations, as well as other facts that the IRS may take into consideration when it comes to how much the business use of your home actually contributes to your gross income. So if you had more than one home where you conducted business, then you can only include only the income earned and the deductions attributable to that income during the period where you own the home for which you use the simplified method. So in line 2, we're going to enter the allowable square footage for the qualified business use. So you can, if you use the same area for the entire year, you can use the smaller of the actual square footage you used or 300 square feet. So if you have a 500 square foot office, you can only use up to 300 feet. So there may be some other rules that apply if you and your spouse conducted the business as a joint venture, then you would have to split the square footage. If you shared space, if you used the home for business for part of the year, or if you changed the use, there are different scenarios that you might have to go deeper into the form instructions for. For the purpose of this video, I just put in 300 square feet. It doesn't matter if my office is significantly bigger than that, but that's the maximum allowable. So now we have to determine the simplified method amount. So the maximum allowable amount is $5 per square foot. Now if you operate a daycare facility and it's not exclusively used for business, then you would have to complete the daycare facility worksheet, which will produce a decimal amount between 0 and 1.0. So in this case, we're not operating a daycare facility. I put in 1.0, which means we are able to deduct the entire $5 per square foot. From here, it's a simple calculation. 300 square feet times $5 per foot gives us $1,500. And then in line 5, we're going to take the smaller of $1,500 or $10,000. So that is our deduction. We're going to enter that on line 30 of Schedule C. Now if this is 0 or less, you simply just don't take the deduction. Line 6 includes carryovers of unallowed expenses from a prior year. So this was in the form instructions or the Schedule C instructions for 2022. Realistically, the only thing that changes from year to year is the name of the year. So for 2023 instructions, this will say 2022 on it. But the prior year, carryover of unallowed expenses from Form 8829, the most previously filed version, because you're using the simplified method in this tax year, you have to continue carrying them over. So maybe in a future tax year, you go back to your Form 8829, and then you're able to use some of these previously unallowed expenses, for that worksheet. So That's the only reason line 6 exists in the simplified method worksheet, is so that you can carry over numbers and not forget about them. And then you redo this year after year after year. So that's all I have for this video. Like I said, we go into a lot more detail about this and all of the other expenses that you can take on Schedule C. If you are interested, you can go to our website, teachmepersonalfinance.com, and type in the form that you're looking for, like IRS Schedule C, IRS Form 8949, and you'll see articles that go into great detail about each of those tax forms. We'll also put links to the articles themselves, as well as videos that we produce for those articles, in the show notes. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. If you like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. And if you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you like anything that we produce, please feel free to tell someone that you feel might benefit. Or if you have any questions or specific topics that you would like me to dive into, please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, please have a great day. Thank you very much.